Hi, and welcome to Taxing Poetic, brought to you by Synexus Tax Solutions. I'm your host, Jenny Carter.
And I'm your co-host today, Tim Howe.
Today, what we're talking about is the one with the sales tax crimes. We are going to discuss what I believe are the top 5 sales tax crimes since the inception of sales tax crime.
I absolutely love it. And looks like our producer, JB, is sitting over here with bated breath.
Yes, and I did not introduce JB. JB, how you doing? You are the Holmes to my Sherlock.
Oh, good. Thank you. Yes, I'm sure you are in the demographic that loves the real murders. So
I am a middle-aged American woman.
Yep.
So yes, we will talk more about that in a little bit here. But since we're switching things up today and I'm doing the intro, I'm going to kick it to Tim for a haiku.
I actually have a AI-generated crime haiku.
AI generated. You got to use your real brain, but okay.
Man, I can't do the whole, what is it, 335, 35?
3575.
Oh, see, I don't even know the numerics, man. I don't even know how this works. But
Okay.
anyways, here we go. Let's give this a shot. You ready?
I'm ready.
Cat burglar on prowl. Stealing tuna cans with glee. Claws of justice strike.
that's a cat. That's a literal cat. That's about cats stealing things.
You know I'm a cat lady also, so I love that.
Good. Jenny, so do you have a haiku too?
I do have a haiku.
Oh, sweet. Do it.
All right, you ready? All right, let me get
do it.
my other,
As you drop you drop the pipe and pick up the magnifying glass.
I got to pick up my magnifying glass here to read this. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
I can solve true crimes from the comfort of my couch while eating Fruit Loops. And that's a true story because, again, I'm in the demographic of middle-aged American women who are obsessed with true crime. I watch everything there is out there. And when they rebooted Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix, I watched every episode and was like, how are these unsolved? I know what happened in all of these.
Look, the fact that the Oxygen network is literally 100% dedicated to true crime stuff now, like it just completely blows my mind.
It is my demographic.
Give the people what they want. That's the first
Exactly.
rule of journalism.
There you go.
And let's travel back in time for a moment when JB came to us and Synexus Marketing came to us and said, hey, Tim and Jenny, we would like for you to do a podcast for Synexus. When I asked you, can it be about true crime? What did you say?
No.
And then I asked, can it be about celebrities? And you said,
No.
so I had to figure out a way to work it in somehow to get my true passions.
And that's
besides
fine.
sales tax.
You've done research on the top 5 sales tax crimes. And for everybody who is absolutely tired of hearing me talk, congratulations. This is Jenny's episode. She's been keyed up for this for months.
I love listening to myself talk much more than listening
And
to you
for all
talk.
y'all who are actually
For
listening
sure.
and not watching, Jenny is dressed in full Sherlock Holmes regalia, has a pipe and even a magnifying glass. So
This is really my true calling.
she's on it.
I never
And-
really understood the magnifying glass. You're just like, I'm looking at this, but I just want to look at it bigger.
Well,
I mean, it's 3% bigger. I just
JB,
don't know how that
obviously,
helps you.
I need to explain this to you. Back in the day of Sherlock Holmes, this is how you would look at fingerprints. That's the only
but
forensic
still,
evidence they had.
I know, but is he what is he mapping it out with a different finger? Like, how does it help you? It's just like, here's a fingerprint a little bit bigger. It's just like,
He can look at the fingerprint
they
bigger.
used to do the chalk outline of the body. How did that help you? It's like, this is where the guy died. It's like, ooh, gross.
Exactly.
Now get back to my hunch. You know what I mean? There's no crime solving.
I will have a whole offline camp for you. We will do a boot camp on true crime, JB. So yes, we will discuss all the tools.
Okay.
So yes. So are we you guys ready for my top 5?
I'm ready for you to roll into your top 5 stories. Let's do this. I cannot wait.
And I can't really specify why I ranked them this way. I know why I ranked number 1 the way I did. It's really more of a feeling, maybe egregiousness. So, just roll with it.
And we do not know the order, Tim and I. So
Correct.
we're going to ask you a couple of questions as to,
I have a couple of ideas of like what the cases are, but I really don't know the order, so I cannot wait to hear this. So fire away,
Okay.
kid. Let's see what you got.
All right. This is number 5.
Okay.
3 Casa Don Juan restaurants in Las Vegas, Nevada were charged with underreporting cash sales by up to $5.1 million and falsifying Nevada sales tax returns for years between 2014 and 2018.
Yo, that's a lot of cheese enchiladas, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Mexican food is typically not very expensive. To get 5.1 million
Yes.
in
jacked
tax.
in sales tax.
Yeah.
So where was it?
It's in Vegas. So, I mean, it is more expensive out there. But
What is the sales tax for
Tim,
food?
What is the sales tax for food?
On Vegas.
Vegas.
Yes.
6.85.
6.85%. There you go. There you go.
Substantial. So this was discovered during a 2018 state audit. We talked about this, I believe, in one of our previous episodes, where we always, kind of make fun of auditors, but we make fun of auditors in jest, and we do love them because the reason why they have their job to ensure that everything's being reported accurately, correct?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So they're not stuffing their pockets because
Yes.
FYI, 5.1 million was a result of $75 million in underreported sales.
I mean, how much? What sales are you doing in a year? In that you could also underreport. Like, I mean, are they selling $500 million worth of tacos and then just a small percentage of them, or is that all? Is that 100%?
I mean, dude, if you think about a typical restaurant, especially if you're talking in a sit-in restaurant, and how many of these were there? 3?
3.
So that's like 25 million a pop over 4 years. So that's 6 million per year. Doing quick AI math, dude, that's
It
ridiculous.
feels like, because I mean, anybody who does a crime thinks they can get away with it, right?
Of
So
course.
why do you think that they thought they could get away with this?
Well, they went through a lot of trouble from what I understood in my research. I mean, to falsify their sales records.
Did
Their
they
point of
really?
sale records, yes. And daily cash and sales reports were falsified. And
Holy
eventually,
smokes.
I assume they, were able to tie it back to cash deposits.
I am absolutely intrigued by this case.
Yes, it's amazing. And here we go. We've discussed this before in previous episodes. Sometimes it's just negligence. People just don't understand what they're supposed to do. We've seen this 1,000 times, right, Tim? I mean, people just don't understand the laws. They didn't know they were supposed to register. In this particular case, it is egregious because they literally use the money to support their lavish lifestyles and to pay for real estate investments. So it was
It looks like it was a cash business too.
So yeah, so in furthering this, which makes this even more interesting. So the total tax loss was actually to the IRS to the tune of 1.6 million, but because of the falsification of the point of sale records and everything else, it's what drove their sales tax inaccuracy. So these people were basically defrauding the federal government and
Right.
the state government at the same exact time.
right.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you get caught doing that?
Oh, it's easy. I mean, in all honesty, like, look, all it takes is an auditor to sit down and look at your sales reports for 5. I mean, it's a typical audit for a restaurant, right? So, auditor comes in, says, "Hey, give me your general ledger. Let me look at your daily cash receipts for X days," and they may do a statistical sample, and then they check it and see how it matches up to what you actually remitted on the return, right? So for your return report or return support, excuse me. So they start finding disconnects there, flags start going off. But at the end of the day, like there's a toleration, like a tolerable percentage of error that had to be way outside of it.
Way outside. And we talked about in our previous food and beverage episodes with Donna, the links these auditors will go to as far as actually visiting the restaurant, sitting down, seeing if there's a water pitcher on the table. So you better believe if they think there's anything going on, anything sneaky, they're going to be in there maybe daily asking for their receipts.
And they may have just gone in, just seen how many people are paying in cash. And it was like 19 out of 20. And they're like, okay, they're
Right.
reporting. I can feel it.
There you go.
I mean, millions of dollars, that's worth your time, right? Not just the...
Yeah, put that in your pipe there, Sherlock, and smoke it.
I can't. 5.1 million won't fit in here. So unless
So
it's
Tim, are you ranking this one? Don't try it at home.
110%. This would be a big negative.
Is this why you were just released from jail?
No,
Or
we won't go into that.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
talk that. It's not sales
Involve
tax.
the
Boy.
Cut.
cat burglar.
exactly.
All right. And number 4 sales tax crime, the Brooklyn puppy seller ordered to pay more than $2.1 million in sales tax fraud case.
Is it a puppy mill?
Well, that's what I was worried about was, is this one of those terrible places? I know we're all fans of animals here, so I almost didn't even want to give this airtime. But it turns out I think it's just pet stores.
Guess what? I mean, the fact is, they involved puppies.
I
These
know.
people have a special first-class ticket in hell.
You
I
can't
know.
say puppies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nah, dude.
No.
Nah, especially when you're boosting sales tax dollars at the same time. Come on.
Yeah. So
So what's the deets?
Well, the deets are, so in this case, the Brooklyn, New York-based Puppy Petite Incorporated and Quality Canines Incorporated not only failed to file sales tax returns for all periods between, December 2013 and 2019, did not remit most of their sales tax returns.
Did they collect it?
They were collecting it,
Oh, that's awesome.
not filing returns, and failed to file more than $800,000 in sales tax. And
Hey,
that's
folks,
a lot of puppies.
Just to let you know out there, if you collect tax from someone and you don't remit it, yeah, there's an orange jumpsuit with your name on it that says DOC.
That seems to be that's the most you can do. Like not only
Department of
do you-
Corrections
you
is coming
take
after
it,
you.
and
Yeah.
then you don't pay it. Not even like I'm not skipping it. I'm taking it.
I'm taking it. Yeah.
And Tim, tax poetic for a minute. This is kind of some sales tax 101 of how sales tax is a fiduciary tax, which means, the seller is really just holding the tax for the state. The tax belongs to the state.
Holy triple word score, Batman. Fiduciary. Look
I know.
at Jenny. She put that Sherlock Holmes hat on her. She's flying today, folks.
I know.
No, in all honesty, it's a trust tax. So, the state's entrusting you as an agent of the state. It's kind of what you do, right? We say you take a pseudo oath when you actually fill your registration that you're going to be a faithful agent and collect the tax on behalf of the state and remit it. And so when you decide not to do that, guess what you've done? You've defrauded the state. You've collected the money and you stuffed it in your pockets. You are now a felon.
And they do not like that because the tax does not belong to you. And Tim, we have seen this with clients and other companies we've talked to that have cash flow problems.
That's right.
They've
asked. I mean, and in some cases, they've said, hey, is there a way that we can do this? Whatever. And you're like, look, you cannot do that. It is 100% illegal.
Yes.
There's nothing you can do about that.
Absolutely. So the principals of a company are on the hook. If you're going to do this, you're going to jail, as we're going to see.
110%.
So
I really like the Dr. Seussry of it all, the way it started, like the puppy petites and the quality canines failed to file. And I was like, man, there's a lot of alliteration happening here.
Exactly.
I really like it.
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
100%.
which is why it's number 4 on the list, alliteration. So yes, they also, when they did file their returns intermittently during this period, they were grossly underreported sales tax. They purposely, again, not negligent, which can happen, not that it's an excuse, but they purposely underreported sales. So they were ordered to pay $2.1 million in restitution to the state. I don't think there was any jail time associated with this, but $2.1 million, I don't know if one of you can AI the sales tax on puppies in New York, but
I have no idea, but that's a lot of puppies.
that's a lot of puppies.
Right. I mean, it's got to be a lot. What do you think the threshold is for sales tax? What's the number that makes you like, you're going to jail? Like 2.1 million wasn't enough. So what's the?
Well, we'll see in some
You know
other
what, man?
cases here.
In all honesty, I think it truly depends on the circumstance. I mean, I think if you were negligent and you were really sorry about it and you screwed up, right? I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of it depends on the appearance of the case and what you were actually doing. In a situation like this, I'm absolutely shocked that these people did not spend time in jail.
I know. Well, they might have. I couldn't find any substantiation for that, but you would think so. Yes.
You would think so.
Right.
And I have a quote
Or an
real
awful
quick.
lot of community service picking up dog poop.
Ooh, I like that punishment.
a good one.
Come to my house. There's plenty of it. So to close this case out, I have a quote from the acting New York State tax commissioner. And she said, business owners who steal sales tax paid by their customers deprive their communities of revenue for vital public programs and services and put law-abiding businesses at a competitive disadvantage, which, amen. Isn't that what we're all about here?
And it's so funny that we consistently have this conversation sometimes with people who are not complying with Wayfair, right? So you talking to other remote sellers and you have people who come to us and say, hey, look, I want to be compliant. I actually want to register and collect and remit this sales tax. But my competitor who's two sites over are selling the same exact product that I am, and they're not collecting any sales tax, and people know this, and they just go to them. And it's an automatic competitive advantage for them. And I just say, do you want to be the guy? Do you want to be that guy that charges up the hill and doesn't collect the sales tax and takes all the arrows and ultimately gets your business shut down because you can't afford the liabilities? Or you just want to do it and provide maybe better customer service or a better product or something along those lines? It is, but it's sad that people use that as a competitive advantage.
It is sad. And really, I think it's the main reason, obviously, why Wayfair even happened, because of Amazon and all the online e-tailers that weren't charging sales tax.
That's right.
They were already putting big box stores out of business anyway. But here,
Did you just make up a term, e-tailers?
I think she did, but I liked it.
Dude, I love that, e-tailer.
I don't think I made that up. I've read that before.
Well,
wow.
e-commerce. I mean, maybe.
I've always just referred to e-commerce, but I like e-tailers. e-tailer. I'm stealing
E-tailer is
it.
better.
Stolen.
Oh,
And it's like
thanks.
I have a 3-year-old. She says, she calls things like she sees them, and so she calls like a Kleenex a sneeze next, and like we're like, you're right. That's what it should be called. That's better than what it is.
She needs to help us on the show.
Okay,
for
that's
sure.
2 terms I'm stealing today. A sneeze next.
A sneeze
I love
next.
it. I love it.
So cute. Well, e-tailer. There you go, Tim.
Yes.
Broaden your
Thanks.
fiduciary. That's another one for you.
Congratulations.
All right. Number 3
Here we go.
on the top 5 sales tax crimes list. Suburban Detroit couple charged with filing false sales tax returns and possessing sales zapper.
What?
This is all new to me. Tim, have you heard of this?
I've heard of a zapper, but I'm going to go ahead and let you describe it.
Well, thank you. I
They're pretty
appreciate
interesting.
that. No, I have never, when I was researching for this episode, never heard of a zapper. So here's the deal. There was a married couple who owned a restaurant in Detroit, and they were charged with filing, obviously, false sales tax returns and for the possession of a zapper, which I didn't know is an automated sales suppression device. It's a software you can buy and I guess overlap it with your POS system.
That's exactly right.
And then it will, I assume it's illegal, of course.
What it effectively does is it kind of masks and clouds your sales. So you can say, hey, maybe in this hour I had $500 in sales, but the zapper will turn around and go and correct everything inside the POS so that you could actually take in $500 in sales, but it would actually only record $200 in sales. So you would basically keep the delta and you'd never have to report income tax or sales tax or anything.
Is it
like
easy
that.
to find out when somebody's using that? It feels.
That's a great question. And the reason why they got caught is someone tipped off the Department of Treasury in Michigan that they were in possession of a zapper. So maybe a disgruntled employee or whatever told them they were using it. And so that's how the Department of Treasury knew to go in and audit. And that's how they found out.
In all honesty, it's really okay. Prior to maybe 8 years ago, let's say 8 or 10 years ago, it would be really, really difficult for you to identify it. And the reason is unless you were doing pure cash counts, because we did not have access or privy to, actually it was longer than 10 years ago, it was maybe like 12 years ago, but we did not have like 1099K information. So to do sales zapping, you got to think if you're zapping sales and you're swiping credit cards, you need the money from the credit card. So you're going to want to take the full amount, right? But there was a point in time when credit card reporting companies, they'd only just issue you back and give you the money and blah, blah, blah. You'd kind of be done, right? It deposits money into your account.
2% or whatever.
That's exactly it. They didn't care.
Right.
But now the federal government with 1099K reporting, you're getting, credit card companies reporting the information in and they're validating those sales and you're matching it to the sales that are actually being reported on an income tax return, blah, 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 blah. So at the end of the day, it's a lot easier to catch people with sales zappers now. Dude, that is really bad software. Like that is big time fraud.
I know. And I never even knew that existed.
Yeah.
I mean, we know of all sorts of different types of sales tax software and never knew a zapper was a thing.
And it's not, and here's the thing, folks, it's not in particular just like geared towards sales tax. It is truly a underreporting total sales
Just
type.
for
thing.
general
That's exactly
taxes.
it. Yeah, for general taxes. But of course, sales tax gets hosed in the process, right?
Well, so as a result of, the Department of Treasury finding this out and then putting them under audit, the amount of tax they owed was actually quite small compared to our last 2 cases. They failed to report $165,000 in sales taxes. But again, I put this at number 3 because of the egregiousness of the zapper.
Yeah, the zapper, even though it's a lower number, zapper, that makes sense.
But see, you do Michigan's rate, which is what, Jenny? 6%?
6%.
Right? And turn around and do 165 divided by 6. That's that's 2.7 million in sales.
Yeah.
I mean, they should open a Mexican restaurant because they are not getting nearly as much as the Don Juan brothers.
Jeez, dude, that's a lot of margaritas, bro.
I mean, I
want to do. You know what? I'm literally going to go do some digging on that case tonight. I'm really intrigued. The math is
sheer
just
number is, especially when you see the puppies 2.1 million. You see the zapper for what was it, 5 years, 6 years they were doing the zapper?
Yes.
It's only $165,000. So it's like, how? They think $5.1 million.
I know, JB, I should have moved up the Casa Don Juan.
the
Sorry.
Zapper, but I don't know. The zapper, real. I see why you did it with the egregious.
I hope you can sleep tonight. I mean, it sounds like you're traumatized.
I just
okay.
so many tacos.
So many tacos. So this Detroit couple, though, is the last I saw, they're facing 5 years in prison. Because FYI, people, all of this is a felony. Everything above, every sales tax crime we are discussing today, sales tax crime is a felony.
Anything you do with regards to frauding the government as a registered taxpayer is typically a felony.
And that's a lot what Synexus does, is compliance.
Much to JB's point, I mean, that's what we're doing is protecting our clients and ensuring compliance to prevent, fraud or, prevent any sort of legal action.
Absolutely. And we sometimes give advice to our clients and they don't want to take it.
That's right.
And, that's on
Lead a
them.
horse to water, you can't make them drink.
That is true. So
Such
that
a
was number
true
3.
statement.
Yes. We should. I think he just made that up, right? Like e-tailing?
No, that's a
No.
I know, I'm kidding. Nobody gets my jokes around here. Okay.
Don't get JB started on cliches. We'll have a cliche contest here for like 3 hours.
for sure.
All right. We're moving up the list. Now we're at number 2. Kodak accountant charged with fraud.
Yes.
This is an infamous case. This is probably, if I had to guess, really the most famous sales tax or just highest profile.
It's property tax, but yes, I mean it's like property tax / sales tax.
My research says, property tax is involved.
It's involved.
Okay.
It involves multiple facets of taxation, and this is a very, very interesting case.
Tim, I thought this was my episode.
I'm sorry. Take it. Just destroying me already.
Okay, so this guy, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say his name. But,
You can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's public record. Mark, I'll say it for you. Mark Camarada.
And you know him.
I don't know him personally, but I've met him at a conference.
I mean, that's like celebrity style right there. We're just inserting some celebrity.
And this was
fun in
quite
here.
some time ago. This is what, early 2000s?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
it's fine.
long time
Okay.
ago.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
So this guy, Mark, he was the director of salt tax at Eastman Kodak, and the level of egregiousness, accused of money laundering and mail fraud, costing the company more than $4 million. And let me tell you something. He inflated payments and invoices to Kodak vendors in exchange for part of the payment going to his own shell company. So he was basically billing the vendor. If the vendor owed $10,000 in tax, he billed them for $20 and put the extra $10 in his own account.
It's like how they got caught in The Firm with Tom Cruise.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. So up to $4 million. And then just to what you were saying, Tim, about property tax, what I learned is he also conspired with other businesses or outsourced contractors.
That's exactly
to
right.
lower their property tax assessments.
That's right.
I don't know if he laundered that money or if that was just part of...
Well, he ultimately got kickbacks, right? I mean, that's like the biggest thing is so he would turn around and they would lower their property taxes. They'd probably get paid some form of contingency fees, whatever. And then he would turn around and get kicked back from the consultants on the contingency fees that they would get for the lower property taxes.
What's the ease of getting away with it for this one?
For this one?
Yeah, how hard is it to catch somebody doing this?
No comment. No, I'm just kidding.
It's real easy. Go ahead.
I'm like, JB, why do you need to know?
I'm just, it's just an interesting part of this is like,
I know
why they think they can get away with it.
Well, look, I mean, if you're a business person, if you're a CFO, this is why you always ask questions about like arm's length transactions. How do you know this vendor? How do you know this guy? Like, are you guys buddies? Are you family members? Whatever. Because when you start getting into situations like that, it's going to be really easy to be sitting there and like, dude, these guys are getting back like $3 million in taxes. Why don't we just turn around and say they're only getting back like, I don't know, 2.3. Or, hey, better yet, let's boost it. Let's say they're getting back 3.6 and I'll turn around and just, you can bill me for this and then kick me back this and boom. Next thing you know, start doctoring up a little paperwork and congratulations, you're a millionaire.
I should have just pulled like an Office Space kind of thing, where they just round it out and put the rounding differences in an account. Maybe get $20.
Just another one of those Monday details.
Yes, exactly.
Not a Monday detail.
So obviously a very egregious sales tax crime. He laundered more than $4 million, or cost the company more than $4 million. He was sentenced to 24 months in prison and has to pay restitution of $10 million.
That's insane.
I mean, so it's
absolutely
worth it. I mean, you're right, JB. It's like, why do they think? I mean, Why do they think they're not going to get
People
caught?
keep doing it, so everyone thinks they can get away with it, and then you do, and then you get greedier and greedier, and then eventually,
So here's this thing, and I'll tell you why I think people do it is because they watch these shows. It's called the next 48 hours, or like the first 48 hours, or whatever.
I don't know what shows you're speaking of.
Exactly, and then you get these people all these ideas. They're like, man, this person was an idiot. I can turn around and kill that person and get away with it.
Sure, right.
I can steal this money and completely get away with it. Well, guess what? Not so much.
right.
They never met me, obviously, because I can solve all the crimes.
Look,
No, probably not. Okay.
No.
So, number 1, Georgia officials raid Gladys Knight's Chicken and Waffles restaurants. Now, why do you think I would put this at number 1?
because you're a huge Gladys Knight fan.
No. Well, I mean, I'm not a Gladys Knight fan because A, we live in Atlanta.
Bingo.
B, I have eaten here. Have either one of you eaten here?
I ate at Gladys Knight's Chicken and
Or
Waffles.
I have.
Pretty
Yes.
solid.
Yeah, it was solid back in the day, right?
Yep.
After a Music Midtown and you need something late night.
Yep.
You go to Chicken and Waffles. The place was amazing.
There you go.
So it was a very high profile case here in Atlanta. In 2016, the feds raided the restaurant. They had been watching it apparently for months, years, just for general income tax, just, they were getting tips. And so he was accused of stealing over $650,000 in sales and withholding tax.
Oh my God.
Sales and payroll tax.
Whoa.
Yes. And then he was sentenced to 1 year in prison in order to pay restitution of $1 million.
So let me
How do you steal that?
So let me tell you how stupid it is to steal withholding tax. So here's the deal. You turn around and don't remit on a 941 or remit on your state returns withholding taxes. And then, 12 months later, somebody goes and files their personal income tax return and goes to get money back. And the state's like, these guys have never really paid anything in. I think you're getting busted.
So it's very easy to get caught.
Oh,
doing
dude.
it.
Yes.
Well, on the withholding tax front, yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, on all these fronts, it's going to be pretty easy to get caught nowadays.
Yes, very stupid.
Yeah.
But the other reason why this is number 1 for me is because I can pull in a little bit of celebrity gossip in here.
Oh, boy.
So the level of egregiousness was raised in that TMZ, who we all know, a very reputable source, reported that her son, so basically Gladys Knight tried to sue her son to take her name and likeness off the restaurant after all this happened, right? And then he tried to extort her and blackmail her in the process to say he was going to out her as having dementia or Alzheimer's disease if she didn't drop the lawsuit.
What?
And she said, I don't think so. And she still sued him and she still won. So, but poor Gladys Knight, I mean, she just sounds amazing. And I know. And your restaurant was amazing when it was, in running and processing chicken and waffles
Delicious
for my
waffles.
enjoyment. Delicious waffles. So that's been my list of, top 5 sales tax crimes. So how would you rank them, JB?
No, that was great. I think you did a good job.
Do you think Don Juan should have been a little higher, sounds like?
I mean, just the number is insane.
Yeah.
I look forward to hearing if Tim has any more research on that later.
I will tell you, but by the next episode, I will 100% have more information on
Let's
that.
do a whole episode on Don Juan's.
Yes.
Just
This has
get their books.
absolutely put me in the mood for a cheese enchilada and a margarita. I'm going to go crush this and literally research this entire case.
That sounds amazing. And yes, and if anyone else out there, if you have any sales tax crimes that we don't know about, email us at taxingpoetic@synexustax.com and we'll do another episode.
I'm sure there are tons of them that we haven't covered today. Jenny, you did a fantastic job navigating this
Hold
episode
on.
today.
Or if you need help solving a sales tax crime, you know who to call.
Oh, God.
I'm the lady.
Yep.
I'll do it in my pajamas.
Professional expert witness testimony right over here. Jenny will be your expert witness.
I will bring all my accessories.
Absolutely love it.
Yes, and you'll get
Awesome.
everything gone. Did we offend anyone, JB?
Honestly, we did not. I mean, I was going to apologize to Gladys Knight, but we did a good job of saying,
Yeah, Tim,
you weren't involved.
Yeah.
I guess,
Hey, Mark Camarada, we're sorry we drug your name into this. I know that you've served your time and done your thing. So, but hey,
Oh, did he? Okay.
I mean, he committed the crime. So
He paid him back. He did all the things.
he did his penance.
Well, it's still his name. It's tough to have an apologies list during just a crimes podcast because
he
it's
technically didn't pay them back. He filed for bankruptcy. So
No, yeah. So then,
well, I mean,
definitely
he was
not.
ordered to. Doesn't mean he did it.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
We know there's a few of those cases.
As
out there
most
right now.
people who get ordered to pay things do not.
To wrap this all up, we appreciate you listening to Taxing Poetic today. You can listen to us on whatever format and platform that you listen to podcasts. I want to thank our esteemed producer JV and my wonderful host today, Jenny Carter, for her wonderful work.
You mean Sherlock?
Yes, Sherlock. And I am Tim Howe, and we are signing off on behalf of Synexus Tax Solutions. We thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.